Good evening. We are live. Another edition of TigerBait Live. Big show tonight. Tons of stuff going on. LSU football team back to work. Kim Mulkey's team gets to send off today at noon. And had a great crowd out there to see them off to Greenville, South Carolina. Number one baseball team continues to roll. 2 out of 3 at Texas A&M. And has everybody in the country saying they're definitely number one, and there's no doubt about it. And big weekend series with Arkansas on tap there. Women tip off in Greenville at 4:30. 4 o'clock Friday against Utah, and that's going to be a tough one. A lot of people excited about Miami beating Stanford, but you got to get past Utah first. And so that and recruiting and a lot more. Brian Kelly after practice yesterday, what we saw at football practice. We're going to talk all about that on the Pride Roofing TigerBait Live show. And hit the like button, share, and I'm glad Buddy's back with us and feeling a little better today, but not so good yesterday, but Jock filled in for us.
Yeah, hey, appreciate JD. You and JD are a hell of a team, by the way, on TV and all other mediums. Hope everybody doing well. Yeah, had a little kidney stone issue, but I'm going to get that baby blown up next Tuesday, so we will be done with that. But it has bothered me, and for those that gave the advice about what to take and drink and all that, much appreciative. But let's get right into it. Man, this is the thing that's blowing me away. We know in football, life travels incredibly fast. You wives, women, you know about the old man, you know about your kids, you know about your grandfather, everybody that loves football, you know. Press conferences on Monday, and then you got this on Tuesday, and coaches shows, and Thursday, Friday. It goes by fast. Mike, you realize how quickly it has gone ever since the time change. I can't catch up. We said Elite 8 for Kim Mulkey and Lady Tigers, but they got a chance now, a real chance, as Indiana got beat by Miami, and Mike's favorite pair of twins playing with the Hurricanes, the Cavender twins. Hell of a game. Indiana and Miami, but wow, what an incredible atmosphere against Michigan in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. First time it's been the Deaf Dome in a long time.
Man, I tell you what, I told you that. I told a few guys in the media Sunday night, I thought LSU was in trouble. I thought that game was going to be, and the way they came out defensively just was devastating for Michigan. Blew out the Wolverines. Now on their way, but I still think you're going to need Alexis Morris to have a really good game. Carson's got, we like to see her hit some shots. Kateri Poole continues to play defense that way. They'll be in good shape. And Flaugier, I'd like to see hit some more. But, we don't talk much about LaDasia Williams and the game that she has at times.
Double.
Because she gets so overshadowed by what Angel Reese does. But she had a fantastic weekend, I thought. So, a lot of excitement, and man, let's say they get to the Final Four. Do you know how well this LSU fan base is going to travel to go to that one?
Well, not only that, she's going to bring in more players, not only recruits from the transfer portal, so we're going 90 miles a minute.
To say nothing about her loyal Waco fans. There's a lot of Waco Baylor fans who are still loyal to her.
Well, it's in Dallas. Obviously, Alexis Morris wants to play her last couple of games over there, but one game at a time. They've got a big girl, 6'3", 6'3.5", and it's going to be a problem. But Miami, with the upset, now playing Villanova 1:30. So LSU, if that game ends in 2 hours, LSU playing right around 4 o'clock, and it will be a barn burner. Second big thing that's got everybody buzzing, 19-2 LSU. 2-1 in the conference. They let one slip away against Texas A&M.
He wanted that one bad.
But these are the games where you learn something about your team. Christian Little didn't have it. That was the second time of the weekend. Garrett Edwards has been fantastic. He didn't go to nasty Nate Ackenhausen. A lot of depth. And, man, are they hitting the baseball. 3.30 as an average team ERA, under 3, about 2.6. 5 or 2-7 after last night's game. So great things with LSU baseball. They are the real deal. All 3 games this weekend, Mike, on the big network TVs. Ben McDonald's going to be calling a couple of the games, so that'll be enjoyable. And spring football, this is a beautiful thing about why you should be a member with TigerBait. Now, I had some problems in the morning getting up and couldn't make it over there. So Jacques filled in with me, but I didn't miss anything because I saw 12 minutes of film. And right now, Mike and I were kidding, but they're not really showing you a lot. I'm not going to give you my analogies, but let's just say that we're not even seeing passes thrown to wide receivers right now.
First day in pads is tomorrow.
First day in pads tomorrow, but we do have some names. We've got some numbers. And the exciting thing is that half this team is not even out there right now. You're going to play 60 on Saturday. There's a good 25 or 30 that aren't out there. Going to be a fun year to follow.
Absolutely. 3 LSU basketball players, men's team in the portal. Kendall Coleman, Justice Hill, and we got another one added this evening, Cornelius Williams. So 9 returning scholarship players currently on the roster with more possibilities to hit the transfer portal. And I think the big news tonight is absolutely need thoughts and prayers for former LSU tight end Foster Morrow. He revealed on Twitter at about a little after 6 o'clock this evening that physical with the Saints, Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I'm just going to read you what he says. At this time to fight a new opponent, cancer, I'm grateful for the support and thankful for people who have stood firm with me. There hasn't been a single step I've taken without hundreds of people lighting the path before me, and I will continue to seek their guidance. That being said, I'm going to kick this thing's ass and get back to doing what I love. AMDG was what? AMDG. What does AMDG stand for, guys?
Yeah.
It's I'm sure it ends with God, right?
Right. And look, Foster Morrow was a hell of a story. This was a guy that didn't get the word that he had an LSU scholarship until the day of signing day, jumped on. He'll tell everybody, I was a skinny little punk when I got to LSU, became a man over here. By the way, in some of these interviews that Foster would do.
It's ad majorem de gloriam. It's a Catholic.
Okay.
I looked it up.
But Foster's a tough guy, had a nice little career. Did you think Foster Morrow was going to be a pro and play tight end in the NFL for a few years when he was coming into LSU? He's overachieved. I got good vibes that this guy is going to beat Hodgkins and still. Please put him in your prayers.
He's a super kid.
Yeah. Wishing for you the best, man.
One of the bright stories. We all know that he got a late scholarship offer to LSU, and what a career he had. And put him in your thoughts and prayers.
He's going to beat this thing. I feel good about that.
Yep. Don Wheat, good evening, everyone. Gary Williams, how's it going, guys? Rob Boudreaux, can't wait for football. Chance Babin, 4 outs away from Meatloaf Sunday, buddy.
Yeah.
Trey Potan, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Glad to have you with us, Trey. Chance Babin, Paul Skeens is so electric. Friday nights will be fun. And Barry Barbier, it is pathetic that we have to get all excited for women's basketball. I'm taking nothing away from Kim Mulkey. She's done a tremendous job, but what about the men's program? Well, we know the men's program needs a lot of work, and we don't have to be excited for women's basketball. We are excited for it. It's fun. And Mulkey is a draw, and go to a game if you've never been.
Let me ask you something real quick, Barry and Mike. Is 75% pretty good in most things?
Yeah.
Okay, Kim Mulkey, Brian Kelly, Jay Johnson. That's the 3. Matt McMahon's over here is the 4, and the jury's still out. Kim Mulkey is selling out the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, getting more publicity for LSU. She's worth every penny. You've told me this 10 times already. She's worth every penny. So if you don't choose to watch it, that's your prerogative. This is
I don't do gymnastics, but that don't mean I don't. They pack the house. People love it.
But this is what cracks me up about all these people, and he's probably a Will Wade fan, of which you said on the radio show today you are. But you know what men's basketball is in the grand scheme of things? P&L statement, profit and loss. It makes $3 million, and football makes 60. What the hell is more important than hiring the right football coach or the right basketball coach? And people don't believe this, but you and I heard it. The NCAA had both coconuts with LSU athletics in their hand. And football went this way and basketball went down. They sacrificed whatever they want to take for basketball to keep football. And we still don't know the slap on the wrist or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But my point is that 3 out of 4 of those hires, and you're going to beat up Woodward like all these guys on the internet doing, get a grip, guys. LSU basketball is either going to get better or Matt McMahon's not going to be here in 2 years.
Bart Smokey with our Smokey Investment Team practice reports, bringing you another one tomorrow morning. Says, why Cooper on Sunday and why not Ackenhausen?
Cooper came in and got a double play ball and got out the inning. The next time, the next inning, they got him for a couple runs, I think. Bart, I said the same thing. I was texting with PFM, one of our great listeners, and who, by the way, did business right here with Pride Roofing because of this show and that man and me every now and then. But Ackenhausen, I thought Jay made a faux pas. I thought he should have come in Sunday. He's nasty. One other little tidbit, Blake Money, you get to see him a little bit, gives up the long ball. Bryce Collins had some problems, but they got so many options and arms. They're not going to get every decision right. I agree 100% with Bart Smokey, what he just said.
Eric DeLeon, Arkansas has beat LSU 9 of the last 12 meetings.
In baseball?
Yeah.
I don't have that in front of me, but that does not sound right. I think it might be the other way around. LSU has owned Dave Van Horn in Arkansas. Now, he's talking about the last 9 out of the 12 games. I'll look that up, but I'm not buying that right now.
Golden Eyes, what's up, Buddy and Mike? Man, I've been out of the loop the last 1 or 2 weeks. Glad to be here so I can catch up on all the latest LSU news. Out of football practice yesterday, and of course with football practice comes recruiting visitors. Walk out of Brian Kelly's press conference from the meeting room, come down the hallway into the lobby area, and there's Trey Green from East Feliciana, and boy, he looks good. Heck of an athlete. Joe Sloan was right there with him, all smiles, and they're bringing some good ones in the coming weeks. Got a little bit of recruiting news on the Tiger Den message board as well about some of this stuff coming. Bar Smokey says prayers for Foster. James Phillips, LSU has to get better starting pitching out of Flynn and Hurd to get 2 or 3 wins against the Razorbacks.
I think the general conventional wisdom, Mike, right now is that Thatcher Hurd could be moved to Saturday and Ty Floyd to Sunday. Look, there's no reason to start Riley Cooper anymore. One of the things that has been obvious, this team is not especially good against left-handed pitching. Riley Cooper tied them up. He had less than a 1 ERA, 0.91 ERA in the fall scrimmages, and that's why he got the start at the beginning of the year. So they got to do a better job of hitting left-handed pitchers. They still can't bunt worth a damn. But this is interesting, and you know the advantage that Jay Johnson has now. He's got the best pitching coach in the country. They're not going to make many mistakes on pitchers and when to bring them in with those two. Johnson & Johnson, it's a better company than the damn pharmaceutical company. Take that to the bank.
Trey Baton, hey fellas, any news on Javon Coleman? Is he going to be out again this year?
I asked Coach Jay Johnson that before the season. He said, looks like he's going to be out. But, Mike, about a month later, they said he may come back at the latter end. Javon Coleman, you remember, you were at Lafayette, Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry. Wears 49, not a big guy. I'm pulling for that guy. I'm hoping to see him later on in the year.
Chance Babin asked Mike, are you expecting any commitments in the next few weeks? Just the odds of it and the number of kids they've got coming in. Man, when you look around the country right now and you see the visits that kids are taking during the spring semester of their junior years, rising seniors, it's staggering how much travel a lot of these guys are doing coming in for visits. I think LSU is going to be, like I said last week, are going to be just like last year. But I think it's going to be a little bit earlier. I know people were getting nervous in May, and then all of a sudden in August, LSU had almost an entire class. I think it's going to be a little earlier this year. I think there's going to be somebody before the end of spring, maybe 2 or 3. Maybe not necessarily all for the class of 24. But with the caliber and the number of recruits that they're bringing in for visits, and that are coming out to see practices and so forth, and then on weekends they're doing crawfish bowls and all that kind of stuff. Stuff's bound to happen. It's just math. But I like where LSU's sitting with a lot of the in-state kids. I don't see any issues right now. And out of state, I really like what they're doing in Texas. Dane Bergeron in the house. Good evening, guys. Glad to have you with us. Bar Smokey, what do you think about last night's batting order?
Well, Paxton Kling went 1 for 15 against the Aggies. By the way, what the hell's going on when you're in a baseball game and everybody's blowing bubbles? We're not going to get into. All I can say is this, and I know you close to Kendall Rogers, and I know he went there, but I enjoy covering LSU a lot more than I would be covering Texas A&M. They are some weirdos, okay? But he did tweak the lineup a little bit, and we will see. You sat Kling down, and I don't know if they're going to bring him back in there. But look, Jay Johnson is the master.
I ain't worried about Paxton Kling getting back on track.
Trust me, it's going to work out.
That kid's a stud.
How about Jared Jones? 7 RBIs in the Saturday game. And obviously, Josh Pearson got the call, hadn't played, got the call, had a great weekend. So Jay Johnson and Wes Johnson know what the hell they're doing.
Guys, if you're enjoying the show, do me a favor, hit the like button. You guys are fantastic about hitting that like button for us. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscription button, notification bell. We're approaching 18,000 subscribers on YouTube. You guys have spread the word and help us grow and tune in each week. And I love all you guys being a part of TigerBait on YouTube. And much appreciative for all of that. Dane Bergeron, the Aggies were channeling Lawrence Welk with the bubbles.
Me.
Blaine Smith, LSU's men basketball looking like it's going from bad to worse. I think it's going to that's in order to get better. I think they're going to have this transfer portal action. The over and under. We've had that poll on the front page of TigerBait for a while. Is it 8 or 9? Is the lead number for how many people think there's going to be new names on the roster next year?
By the way, we always like to have some crazy predictions, and I'm going to tie in with what's going on with Alabama. I'm not going to get into the safety getting in trouble or the basketball player getting in trouble, but when Nick Saban was at Michigan State, he was on the totem pole of number 2. Tom Izzo was number 1 over there, and Mark Emmert offered him $1.2 million. Nobody ever made $1 million before as a college football coach, and he said, look, this is not Kmart, this is Walmart. Got him over here, did the great things he did. But all of these comments that Nick made about the wrong place at the wrong time and him and Oates, Mr. Oates, Coach Oates.
But then he was at practice today. Saban went to Alabama's practice.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying to you is this. Nate Oates is going to leave Alabama because he ain't ever getting number 1 over at Alabama. You ask the Alabama fan base, is football more important than basketball? Alabama basketball is a pimple on their butt in Alabama football. And so I wouldn't be shocked.
But it's like
that.
Other than Kentucky, it's like that everywhere in the SEC.
But I understand that. And from a monetary standpoint, so for all these LSU fans that are going crazy, I'm saying you got Mulkey, you got Kelly, you got Johnson. All 3 we predicted to go win a natty. Okay, give McMahon a couple more years. If he doesn't make it, Woodward's not stupid. He's gonna boot him. That's all there is to it.
Todd Davis, Mike, how's Kobe Young from Holy Cross trending? I'm glad to see that his rating is trending high. I couldn't believe after seeing him in the playoffs against St. Paul's, where everybody had him rated, and you guys saw my film and my interview with him. Super kid, I love him, and I think LSU's in a really good spot with him. I wouldn't go against Frank Wilson and Cortez Hankton. And all the guys, Arsamon, Bobby, and Sherman, and all those guys in the building at landing Kobe Young. I think he's a special kid and doesn't get talked about enough. Rob Boudreaux with a super chat. Thank you. And he says, love the show, guys. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for the super chat. He says, who if these baseball guys leave, are they good players anyways? Yeah, they're going to get better players. That's why you got to cull.
Look,
you bring him in and say, look, I just don't think you can play here. I mean, there's some frank conversations going on.
Was he talking basketball or baseball?
Basketball.
Oh, no doubt. And look, no disrespect to Coach McMahon. He's feeling his way, but he made some really poor personnel decisions. And by the way, Juice Hill quit on the team for personal reasons. And I don't want to get into that, but he let him come back and let him play a lot. And so, quite frankly, there's a lot of basketball pundits that I know are happy he's on the way out. They got to get more talent. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He can't play at this level. Sorry, Goose.
Blaine Smith really hope LSU brings in a couple of top-rated corners in the 24 class. I think that's on its way. You've already got some really good defensive backs committed. I really like Wardell Mack, who's not committed yet. He's one of the top guys in the country. And so there's going to be a lot of good players in there. What's going to happen with Jawan Johnson at the end? Does he stick with Colorado is my question. That one's going to be a very interesting one to follow, I think.
And this year in the spring, as we give you reports tomorrow, we'll break it down. There's about 6 corners that are all trying to get in the mix. We mentioned it last week. Javian Toviano, Mike, I predicted this kid will be a captain on that defensive team before he leaves here. He's number 25. I think he's got a great chance to start. J.K. Johnson from Ohio State. Denver Harris is running with the 3s. LaTerrence Welch is a guy that played last year. Zy Alexander from Southeastern, 6'2", 190. Ryan Yates has a lot of new numbers, a lot of new DBs. Deuce Chestnut is out, waiting on him. More guys coming in. Look, they're going to do it again, just what they did. They rebuilt the secondary last year, had 2 brand new corners. You're going to have the same thing this year.
Trey Patin with a super chat. As fans, I feel like we take it for granted, but man, Dylan Cruz is a special talent. Wow. Go Tigers.
Mike, we were talking to Ben McDonald, and you talk about the greatest. I don't care if you pick 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. I mean, it's hard to just will it down to a number. But Ben McDonald and Todd Walker and Alex Bregman and Eddie Furness, mighty good. Dylan Cruz is right up at the top of that group, man. And LSU could actually have something that's never happened before with LSU baseball. 2 teams drafted in the top 5 of the first round. I'm calling it right now. Skeens and Cruz both go in the top 5, if they stay healthy.
Thanks, Trey. Thanks for that super chat, big time. Edward O, the Nuss Bus driver. How is Nuss looking, Mike? I looked at him yesterday. I thought he looked like he's put on some muscle.
He has.
And I think Ricky Collins has put on some muscle. I asked Brian Kelly that question. I think I was the second question yesterday about how does he feel about the strength and conditioning and looking at their analytics from this time last year. And that was a really good answer from him. Talking about the running 20 miles an hour. There was only one guy that did it last year, and now 9 can. He had a look on his face like there was more he wanted to say, but he held back a little bit. I don't know if he was going to go a little negative and maybe throw some shade at maybe some others who he'd like to test better, or if there was more good stuff he wanted to hold close to the vest. These coaches like to hold stuff because then they go on, I don't know if they're going to do any TAF tour stops or whatever. They like to have a little red meat that they can throw out there at some of those things. But I think he looked good. I really did. But look at what we're seeing. If you saw, I had like almost 12 minutes of footage yesterday. It's a lot of the same drills and stuff. Did you see on our spring initial release, are we going to get a full practice or 1 or 2 before? Do we get one of those?
I think that is yet to be determined, but I do think we're going to get an extended period. Right now, folks, we're getting very little concrete viewing time to see something. But we are seeing numbers. We are seeing the guys in shape. I'm starting to get acclimated. Your brain, 17, Ovi Ogofu, okay? Graduated Notre Dame 3 years, went to Texas for a year, played in his 5th year, LSU, got a relationship with Brian Kelly. That's a guy you're going to see play. Paris Shan is the guy at D-tackle. Tank Gilry, this is his spring to get into 2 deep because I don't think anybody's going to bring out Mekhi Wingo or Mason. Do you?
No.
And then, of course, the guy who Mike actually rated higher than Mason Smith, number 35, Savion Jones, is all 6'6".
Man, he looked good. He looks good.
260.
Quincy Wiggins looked good today.
Quincy's smaller, though. He's 265, but he looks good. And Fitzgerald West, he got to lose a little bit more weight, but he's on the defensive line. So you got a lot of backups, but a bunch of guys not out there. Everybody talking about Deshaun Womack, what he's going to bring to the table. The next great edge rusher wearing number 49, Deshaun Womack.
Yeah, I was after I walked past Trey Green, I have Major Burns and Quincy Wiggins holding the door for me. And Quincy's holding a big box of Chick-fil-A. Now, I don't know if that's a parting gift after practice, but it was a big box. I didn't know if there was a 12-count chicken strip in there or whatever, but a guy like Quincy, I'm sure, can throw down some nuggets or whatever. But
come on, man. Chick-fil-A, you love mac and cheese. They got the best mac and cheese. Oh, by the way.
But you know what? Did you watch Jock Talk Emory Jones? He claims the food at the Catholic High Cafeteria is better than in that facility.
Wow.
I don't believe that.
I didn't hear that.
Was the food that good when you were in school at Catholic High?
Oh, no. Come on.
Yeah, I don't believe it. But I think he was giving the old lunch lady a call out.
Sure, no doubt.
But
Emory Jones, by the way, him and Will Campbell are both listed at 6'6", 3 1/4 this year. And I don't think Brian Kelly would ever believe if you came in and told Brian Kelly, man, they don't have big, good, smart, physical offensive linemen in the state of Louisiana. He wouldn't buy that because Lance Hurd is coming to the party. And he's going to be a factor, and it's going to be fun to see those big uglies dominate on the line of scrimmage this year.
Major Burns said he is in the best shape of his life.
Yeah.
When we were just walking to the cars.
He's bigger than he was last year.
And those football players absolutely love these early morning workouts. They love them because they're done. They get out, they're done, they've showered, they got the whole day to themselves. They've got now with daylight savings time, they go to class till about 3 or 4 o'clock. And they're free, and so they can get their homework in, go on dates, do whatever they do, and look what he's had so far. It's worked out for him. I mean, they've had 4 practices?
Tomorrow's 4.
We've had 2.
Tomorrow's 4.
Okay.
And we should see him in pads. Oh, by the way, I said it last week. I'm gonna say it again today. You got the next Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Trey Holly looks exactly like Clyde Edwards-Helaire did. The difference is Clyde wore 22. Trey Holly's wearing 25. I watched some of your tape today that you filmed, or yesterday. He catches the ball. He's going to put his foot in the ground and make people miss. We still know when you watch college football, LSU does need to bring in a guy that can take it to the house on any play. And I don't think anybody is going to assume that John Emery is going to be back. So interesting to see.
Trey Holly's going to be big.
Trey Holly's he's going to play a lot this year, folks. He's the real deal.
Yeah. And then you've got the big 210, 215-pounder Caleb Jackson, who runs a legit 10-4, 10-5, 100 meters. That's a nice running back haul. And then you got get Josh Williams healthy, Armani Goodwin healthy. And then we'll see what John Emery does with taking care of business in the classroom.
And don't sleep on the guy who scored more rushing touchdowns than anybody last year, Noah Kane.
Chance Babin, I enjoy seeing Arkansas beat Duke and Musselman losing his shirt. LSU had him on the staff years ago.
He was on the staff 1 year with Johnny Jones and then went out and took the job at Nevada. But look, there are some wacko coaches in the SEC. Bruce Pearl and Musselman, but yeah, he kind of pulled Mike Scarborough and took his shirt off.
It's that time. Let's hear from Mike and Alex.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
At Pride Roofing, we handle commercial and residential work.
TPO, shingle, and metal inventory.
We got it. Property still in disarray from the recent hurricanes and hailstorms. Insurance claims?
No problem. But you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Se habla Espanol.
There it is, Mike Faraday, Alex Martinez with Pride Roofing, and boy, they are growing, and they're gonna have some more big news. Another acquisition. Mike called me this afternoon. I ain't gonna spoil it or jinx anything. I don't know if they've signed the paperwork, but It's really something to see the growth of Pride Roofing right there in Albany, Louisiana, owned and operated by Louisiana folks. And, of course, Mike Faraday, a Broadmoor High and LSU grad. And call them at 855-PRIDE-16, and they're going to continue to run that special. I've got 2 more guys this week that I've got to email. I'm going to do that tomorrow, or I'm probably going to do it this evening, that jumped on that deal. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait. And with your free roof inspection, they're going to give you free TigerBait Premium for a year, and that's a $99 value, and they're paying the bill for each and every one of them. You cannot beat it. So that's any roof, commercial or residential, anywhere in South Louisiana, Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and north up, what is that? What's highway to up Hammond up through Jackson?
55?
55 to Jackson. Anywhere in that area, Pride Roofing covers it well. And, of course, right there on Florida Boulevard in Albany. Swing by and check them out.
Hey, we're trying to really get into the Baton Rouge market. Jorge Martinez is running our Government Street location. It's a new location. We've had it a little under a year. And, you know, there are so many roofing commercials on TV. Let's not kid ourselves. But once again, we've talked about ever since we started doing the show and they were sponsoring all the shows. They take pride in the roof over your head just as much as the one over there. We talked about them caring. We talked about them being community players. And residential, commercial, and what's hot? Metal roofs. Picked up an incredible company, Crown Metals. Folks, it's changed. All they ask is an opportunity. Give them a call, Baton Rouge, 275-2041. Outside the area, 855-PRIDE-16. Give them an opportunity. They'll sharpen the pencil. Mention Mike's name, mention my name, and I promise you, you will have great pride, because in this part of the country, we deal with intense pressure on our roof because of the tsunamis, the floods, the hurricanes, and the like. Trust us on this one. All we ask is that you give them the opportunity to do business with you.
American Patriot with a super chat. Are you scouting interesting high school players? I'm going to be going out for the spring evaluation period and seeing a lot of guys that LSU's out pursuing to film, see as many spring scrimmages and intra-squad things that are out there. It looks like a lot of high school coaches, it seems like, are getting away from having traditional spring games facing another school. I think they still have the option to have a longer fall camp if they shorten spring. But I'm going to get to see as many of those guys as I can. Of course, you guys know what we do in the fall. Going out and seeing prospects a lot of Thursday nights, and every Friday night we have 2 or 3 cameras out, and nobody brings you the film like we do. Not just clips on Twitter. We bring you a full package when we go out. Thank you for the super chat. Kenny Haynes with a super chat. Mike, allow me to say this on baseball. Starting pitching, your chance to win on Friday is probably 80%. Come Sunday, I'll bet on our sticks.
Well, you know, Shark, I one time said something about a commitment by the name of Thomas Pittman, and I said there was an 80-20 chance that he'd go to LSU, and he ended up going to Auburn. And so Mike beat me up on that prediction and that number for many, many years. So let's tweak that.
Am I losing my mind? Was it Auburn or was it Florida?
No, it was Auburn. I'm pretty sure you went to Auburn.
Florida was Ernie Batto.
Yeah, Florida was Ernie Batto. But let's make that 82% on Friday night. Man, if Paul Skeens pitches the way he did last Friday night, Lloyd Peaver pitched 1 year at LSU, went 14-0. I don't think Paul Skeens is crazy to predict he's going to be undefeated, because baseball is baseball. But, man, he is the best Friday starter that they have had probably since Aaron Nola. And it's exciting to see LSU have all of that. I still think they're going to be tweaking 2-3 midweek starter and the bullpen. But once again, you're only in week 2 of the SEC. Oh, by the way, I did look up. Arkansas swept LSU last year, so that that guy that made the comment, he may be right.
Eric.
He may be right, Eric. But I do know this: for a long time, LSU dominated Arkansas, but as of late now, you got to remember at the end of Maneri's career.
Some of those Arkansas series was what getting people really upset with Maneri.
Yep, no doubt. So you might be right on that one, but look, I think 2 out of 3 is what you ought to expect this weekend for LSU.
Yeah, in fact, he says this. Arkansas swept last year 0-3, lost 2 of 3 in 21, lost 2 of 3 in 19. In 2018, LSU won 2 out of 3. So in the last 12 games, Arkansas against Arkansas, LSU was 4-8. I was off by 1.
Okay, all right. Hey, look, good stuff, Eric. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, one other little tidbit that Mike brought to the radio show today that I think all of you should take note of is this was an interesting little battle. I'm talking about Jaylen Brown, and you kind of like the way he looks.
Yes.
And, folks, I compare him favorably, body-wise, to Devonta Smith. Now, look, we all know the barber.
I think he has bigger calves.
I know, but the barber from 8 Meat got him over to Bama, and let's be honest, they won championships and he won a Heisman. You cannot say that was a bad decision, okay?
I thought Tre'Davious White had the smallest calves I ever seen. Devonta beat him.
Well, bottom line is, you like this kid, and as I watch film, LSU is going to be able to throw the deep ball. The question is it going to be Jaden Daniels or Nussmeier or both this year? I want to see LSU go over the top and utilize the deep ball, especially if you have 8 less plays a game. Come on, Denbrock. Come on, Coach Kelly. Come on, Joe Sloan. Time to be aggressive. Have the coconuts you had against Alabama.
Did you see the footage that when Nussmeier thought it was his turn for a rep and Jaden took another one? Like that was a little. Watch that little interaction. If you go to TigerBait, if you're not a subscriber, and check us out for $1 and watch that clip. I don't know if there's if I'm making more of it, but chomping at the bit. They're battling.
Jaden is an inch taller and 5 pounds heavier. Look, I looked at his guns. He has definitely got bigger up here. There's no doubt.
Yeah, he's bigger in his legs too.
He's 6'4". Now, once again, you got to remember this, folks. When you're in the SEC and you have a propensity to run the way he does, he's got to make sure that pad level gets down, the sliding. Not everybody's as tough as Joe Burrow. You know how many hits but Daniels was mighty tough last year. But just be ready that Jaden Daniels, I bet you he's even faster, even though he's put on 5 pounds. I guarantee you he's one of the guys that runs faster than 20 miles an hour.
You know, when you look at the history of what LSU's done with transfer quarterbacks, and then you start thinking, okay, after this year, Jaden's gone. You know, you really, not just you want to maybe see both quarterbacks, but I think ideally you want Nussmeier to play significantly more than he did last year.
Sure. Because
you don't want to go into the 24 season still with a question mark of what Nussmeier is as a starter. But then you get Colin Hurley at midterm. Of course, Ricky will be a year older. When you start going down the road and you start trying to guess what the scenarios are going to be at the quarterback position for the next 2 or 3 years, is there someone in between in the next couple of years that ends up being a transfer in, but just because they need a guy, because the guys they've got aren't ready yet?
But you made a great point. Zach Mettenberger was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow was the greatest, and I'll never see another one as good as him in my lifetime. And Jaden Daniels, whether you want to believe it here or not, accrued more yardage as an LSU quarterback than any other quarterback last year than Joe Burrow. Now, he didn't have 60 touchdown passes like Joe did, but I think people are going to come to respect Jaden Daniels in year 2. But, man, Mettenberger, Burrow, and Daniels, that's all you need to know about quarterback that came from the transfer.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Mike, we should have a TigerBait party in Vegas for the USC game next year. Man, everybody's buzzing about Vegas. There's folks out there selling travel packages already. People are booking flights. I'm planning on going.
And he's got other big news, but I'm not going to bust his chops.
I got to figure out logistics of that. And how do you do shows?
I will be there. I'll tell you what. If Shark and Snake and the rest of the people, we got to leave. We can't leave Nurse Court out and all the rest of them. But I'll go. Look, you go, I go, and we bring the girls.
You guys tell me and I want to see that stadium. That's one of the top 2 stadiums in America. They say of the new stadiums. Of course, what would you say? That one or Los Angeles? That was pretty special. But
Man, this one, it's going to be a hell of a trip.
So, but where to stay, and if you guys that are regular gamblers and go to Vegas a lot, what sports bar is closest by? Where could we have a meeting? There's a lot of things we can do, but I want to make that one, and everybody I know wants to go to that one. That's going to be a hard ticket, I think. I think that's going to be an expensive ticket. If you don't get them through the school, I think that's going to be an expensive third-party StubHub or whatever you use.
USC already has an NIL sponsor for their whole team going to that Las Vegas game. NIL, you know who it is?
What?
Charmin.
Todd Davis, prayers for Foster Moreau, who has cancer. Absolutely. We talked about that earlier on the show. Absolutely. He's a tough kid, and he's going to beat it. Yeah, here we go. Connor Johnson. How is our guy Omar Spates coming along? Go Beavs. I thought he looked good yesterday. I singled him out. Number one.
No. He moved into the ones. He was running with the ones.
But he's wearing number one.
He's wearing number one, but he was running with the ones Tuesday with Harold Perkins.
I like the way he moves.
Greg
I like his
Penn
size.
has lost 5 pounds down to about 235. Omar Spates is going to play a lot of football, and he is going to – I think those three guys interchange. But Penn, if he didn't tackle out backs out the backfield, it could be 1 and 4 as you're starting the inside linebackers. No
Connor
doubt.
Johnson, go check out Angie. Is it Angie Mikado? I know I'm butchering her last name, but she's got that. She's got the best Oregon State site. If you haven't checked that out. I think she's on the 247 network now. Go check her out. She's got a great site. Love her. Kenny, I play sports growing up, and yes, it made a difference to me when another team dominated us in years. It made me want to beat them even more. I laughed at Jay Johnson on Monday when he said he really wanted that sweep because he saw that was the one record that he could have in the LSU record book because there's so many records. No LSU baseball coach has ever swept in College Station. That's a hell of a statistic.
Yeah.
Fire 3449. Hey, Mike, great show. Everyone hit the like button. Absolutely fire. Thank you for saying that each and every show. Wind could be gusting out in the upper 20s on Friday night. LSU could hit some dingers. That's Paul Escon.
PFM. Hey, look, Tommy White called tanks. First thing Mike said to me when he met Tommy White, of course, I guess this was media day of the day after. Man, the guy looks like Robert Newhouse. If you remember Robert Newhouse, he was his short, stocky fullback that had about 50 pounds of legs and thighs. And Tommy Tanks, by the way, has only struck out 7 times this year.
Who had bigger legs, Newhouse or Earl Campbell?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, stocky guy, goes oppo with the home run. Dylan Cruz, somebody added, I think it was Smokey Bart. What are you going to do with this lineup? They're constantly tweaking it, but this is fun to watch because there aren't any easy outs. Jordan Thompson hit the long ball last night. You got a ton of talent, and you got a ton of talent on the bench, Mike. So baseball, I've talked to a lot of baseball people, okay? I'm talking about the Walkers, McDonald's, all of them, the Pete Bush, all of them. I don't think anybody's ever seen this much talent on one team than this year's team. Now, does that mean they're going to win it all? Not necessarily.
Look at Tennessee last year. Ben McDonald brings that up on most interviews I've seen.
25-5 and then choked against Notre Dame.
How many SEC series did they sweep last year?
Yeah.
That was a staggering number.
Yes.
So you just, like he says, that's what the beauty of baseball. But it can also be the tragedy of baseball. Tiger fans, you want to show your LSU Tiger pride? Alumni Hall is your ultimate shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Nike Golf, Champion, Columbia, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, hats, Yeti, gifts and accessories. LSU students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in-store every day, and you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in Perkins Row, or anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Tiger fans shop. In addition, you got to go see that store. They've got all your LSU baseball jerseys in whatever color you want, and I love seeing the Tiger team wearing the grays on Saturday.
Yeah, really.
That's
good
my
look.
favorite uniform.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they got the grays. I don't know if they print those up, but they should. But they've got everything you want, and they've got new arrivals. I check their store every day, and go visit that great store in Perkins Row, and tell them you heard about them on TigerBait. If there's anything you need LSU gear-wise, they've got it jam-packed into that really nice store on Perkins Row.
I got to go talk to them because I want to see if we can somehow get those T-shirts printed again. Chicks dig the long ball, and I think LSU, when we start to get some hotter weather and that wind blowing out, it is going to be.
How many? You said 120. How many home runs did you have?
I predicted 128.
Are you on pace?
Not right now, but there's plenty of time.
What did Todd Walker have? You were taking their numbers, weren't you?
Todd Walker said LSU was going to go 23-7 in the league. Ben McDonald said 20-10. I said 21-9. Look, Mike, this is a year where you get to Omaha, and now the only thing they got to worry about, as we said, injuries. You know, there are some fluke injuries in baseball. They do have to get appreciably better hitting left-handers. But this has been a fun team to watch, and they haven't even scratched the surface yet.
All right, guys, I'm scrolling down. Let me get caught up. I'm finding you guys. Bart Smokey, LSU Alumni Association has a good package for Vegas. I am deposited for that one. Kenny Haynes with a super chat. Another one. Thank you, Kenny. Buddy and Mike, we are going. LSU has a watch bar in Vegas. Okay. See a lot of prayers for Foster Morrow. Keep them going. LA Mom 2020. Mike, did I hear you say that Denver Harris was winning with the threes? No, you didn't hear me say that.
I said that.
You did?
LA Mom. He is running with the threes, but guess who else was running with the threes last year at this time? You remember?
No.
Micah Baskerville.
His memories.
Remember?
Yeah.
Because he was a little sluggish, getting acclimated to the culture and going to school. And Brian Kelly said, you go to class and go to school, or you go in the third string.
Denver Harris is going to be a starter.
Denver Harris, but they're going to make him earn it. See?
Yeah.
He came in here with a little baggage. So you got baggage, you're not going to the front of the line. But right now, he's running with the threes, LA Mom.
Connor Johnson, Oregon State versus LSU would be a good matchup in baseball and football. What was that one game that Oregon State scared the hell out of LSU?
Oh, my goodness. You know, that was the first game in Tiger Stadium after LSU had won the national championship and had their kicker not clanked so many kicks.
That was 08?
No, that was 04.
Okay.
04.
I remember that, yep. Greg Myers checking from Nashville. Thanks for all the updates, you guys rock. Thank you, Greg. Mac, I like Dylan Cruz in the second spot with Tommy Tanks in the 3-hole.
Yeah, look, you got to find somebody that's going to lead off consistently and get on base. And the whole idea is you want to have a lineup where they can't pitch around Dylan Cruz and Tommy Tanks. Now, you got Trey Morgan in there at the front. You're tweaking with Pearson up at the top. You still have, obviously, the big freshman, Jared Jones. I mean, you got everybody in that lineup is a stud. And so I think the good thing about Jay Johnson, he keeps tweaking. He's not setting his own. He is going to play the hot guy.
What about Jared Johnson's swagger when he strikes out? the way he walks to the dugout.
There's some characters.
He is. I was laughing at him after he struck out.
Well, look, they are striking out. Believe it or not, folks, because we looked at the stats. They are striking out 7.85 times a game. They've got like 157 Well, I didn't include last night, but going into last night, they had almost 8 times a game they've been striking out. But I think there's some give and take there.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Thank you, Dane. Mike, tell the people at Alumni Hall to do some players' jerseys with numbers like they do for football. I think it would be a very good seller. I'll bring that up. I talk to them pretty regularly. Call them and ask them. They're real flexible over there. They order all their own goods right there at the Baton Rouge store.
Hey, for you kids, if you want to buy a Harold Perkins jersey this year, drop the 0. He's number 4 this year. Of course, he wore 40. Whit Weeks is wearing number 40 this year. That's Wes's little brother.
I just took care of a block.
Oh, you had a bot? Okay.
Well, I don't know what he was, but we took care of that.
Is he from South Carolina?
I don't know.
Oh, by the way, Dawn Staley won the Women's Coach of the Year again as expected. Look, I know you're smirking, but she deserves that. Let's give them credit. They're going to do what Georgia did. They're going to repeat. But next year, I'll bet you a Diet Coke or a beer or whatever, she won't win it.
You guys know that subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you're somebody who reads the comments, without fail, every Kim Mulkey video, post-game, normal press conferences, 2 days before a game, whatever it is, you can book it. Gamecock fans are going to come in there and say, oh, that's nice and all, but you're not beating South Carolina. I mean, it's every video on our channel. And it's coming next year. They're coming to the PMAC next year.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I got to throw a little shade at somebody. This guy has more names than Carter has liver pills. He was first known as the Black Dog. You remember the Black Dog?
Yes.
And then he changed to another name. Now his name is Vice Grip. How do I know that? Because I can tell just by what he's posting. So now he's beating up Jaden Daniels in one of these latest things. I forgot which one it was.
Well, he's a nuts bus guy, right?
He's a nuts bus guy. But anyway, Vice Grip, I know you, but you can't hide. This is also the guy. Remember who he wanted to head coach? Lane Kiffin. Mm-hmm. So, hey, Black Dog, read him and weep. Jaden Daniels is going to start, and he's going to play every down that he's healthy. I'm hoping that Nussmeier plays more. But why do people get so damn invested in one player, and if he doesn't start or didn't get his opportunity to be a star, they freak out? Love them all. This is what LSU fans do worse than anybody. They eat their own. You're on the same freaking team. Embrace them. Crazy.
Yeah.
I guess you can tell I'm feeling better after that kidney stone.
This, guys, look, any of you that are on social media, if you look at Twitter, if you're on these shows, you're in the chats, you're on message boards, you're in Facebook groups, whatever message board you go to, on our message board on TigerBait, you know it's coming in the coming months. The Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier debate is going to hit, especially in the dog days of summer. After baseball season's over, it's really going to get bad. And then you're going to get people fighting. And you're pro-Nuss, you're anti-Nuss. You're pro-Daniels, you're anti-Daniels. And you know it's coming. I just hope you guys recognize it when it's happening and try and keep it to a minimum.
I will say this. As we said last week, I think more so than ever that Garrett Nussmeier should play more reps this year because of what you saw in the bowl game. And granted, we talked about the Purdue and the lack of talent they had in that game. But he gives LSU an element of offense that they can't have with Jaden Daniels, the ability to make that incredible throw down the field. We talked about Jaylen Brown. We didn't even scratch the surface with Shelton Sampson, Malik Neighbors, and all the guys that can run. So I would love to see Nussmeier play a little bit more. And secondly, you got to groom him for potentially being the quarterback and the starting quarterback.
Yeah, because it can't be a carbon copy of last year.
In 2024. So I'm hoping he gets more PT, but he's not going to beat out Jaden Daniels. He's just not.
No, I don't think so.
Regardless of what happens.
But I think he's fine. Like, he's not going anywhere. He knows he's the guy in 24.
He loves LSU. He's going to stay here. His opportunity to start will be 2024.
And then I wonder, because we go from thinking the future, that Colin Hurley, with all the accolades and his Twitter and everybody's just overshadowing Ricky Collins. Does Ricky Collins surprise the people a year from now? What is going to be the growth of him? You know.
But this is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Go look at the quarterback play that LSU had for the Les Miles tenure. Trust me, folks, LSU quarterback situation has never been better. Kudos to Kelly, Denbrock, Sloan, Arsema, all those people that are in the house recruiting. And who was the guy in 25? Was that Bryce Underwood? What was his name? 25 guy. Just was in here a couple of weeks ago. Thought he was from California.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that's his name. But anyway, they're in good shape with him. So.
Well, you're talking about Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got McIntyre from Nashville.
Sure.
Class of 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the two offers. Carl Dunn. Good evening, buddy and Mike. There is a walk-ons in Las Vegas. There you go.
Hey, I just saw Drew Brees doing a commercial for walk-ons, and Mike and I were talking on the phone the other day. If you haven't seen Gordon McKernan, and yeah, we give him free pub because you know what? He saved LSU's ass. Okay? He saved LSU's ass with NIL more so than anybody, and he's got a gig with your favorite
Kim Mulkey. That's a great video.
That's a great commercial.
With the sparkles, him wearing a sparkle jacket.
I know those kind of attorneys get beat up, but trust me, he put his money where his mouth is.
Yes, he has. And you're right. Now, I do think there are some NIL people out there that don't publicize
absolutely
what they're doing.
Sure.
And they should. I mean, if you're going to give an NIL deal to a player, you're doing it for marketing purposes. Well, then you got to start printing stuff up. You got to start doing commercials. And he uses it to the maximum. So I think he's got it dialed in right. And I think a lot of businesses in the area that are doing NIL need to follow his lead. You know, if you're going to pay for it, use it. We know there's a couple of baseball guys that are, one of the things I'm seeing the A&M guys complain about is all the NIL money in LSU baseball. Well, we got a pretty darn good idea where the NIL money's there, but they're not running commercials about it.
Thatcher Hurd's giving every penny of his NIL money to the food bank. Paul Skeen's doing the Folds of Honor military thing. Dylan Cruz, nothing but class off the baseball diamond. So, look, that's the way, in my opinion, NIL is supposed to work. And, oh, by the way, if we go on that trip to Vegas, I'm going to have the girls, Jovi and Sarita, in Harold Perkins T-shirts for that Las Vegas game. You can do business with Harold Perkins. Go to that site. It's a good-looking T-shirt.
Eric DeLion, I've heard that Gordon commercial so much it's unreal. I have too. I could sing it, but I'm not going to sing it because I'm not getting paid. But if I get a check over in the box, I'll sing it.
Kim Mulkey says...
But it does. It gets in your head and it stays.
Kim Mulkey says, let's get it done on Friday at 4 o'clock.
But that's the key for a good jingle.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to do. Guys, go to TigerBait, subscribe. Try us out for $1. We're going to bring you a lot tomorrow. We're going to have our practice report, Buddy and I out there after practice. Another huge video package. I've got about 3 or 4 recruiting updates that I'm going to be posting tomorrow as well. Got a couple of really good ones on the front page of TigerBait right now. More recruiting visitors coming in the coming weeks. Basketball, baseball coverage. We got it all for you on TigerBait. We really want to have you as a premium subscriber. I'm on the message boards day and night. We have our live game threads. I'll be running them for women's basketball. We got Richie B. and Gray who run our baseball threads, and I'll poke my head in there. We have a lot of fun on our Tiger Den message board, and we really would like to have you guys on board on TigerBait.com. Go to TigerBait.com. $1 gets you started. You can be up and running in 90 seconds.
By the way, please, once again, we've been talking about it, but please pray for Foster Morrow with Hodgkin's disease. And look, we see something that Father Charbel brought from him. Jesus, I trust in you. And I hope that Foster believes that and says every night. And one thing about the LSU fan base, that everybody cuts up each other. But every time there's negativity, every time there's these kind of situations, It's unbelievable, the bond that they, and this is why people live in Louisiana. We don't live here for the traffic and all the BS that happens and the negativity. But please put your prayers for Foster. He's an incredible guy, and let's just pull this guy through, because that's got to be something. Are you kidding me? A pro career, and by the grace of God, having a physical with the Saints, they found this. It's meant to be.
What would he be, 25, 26?
Yeah, he's got to be in that neighborhood. Yeah.
So, man,
Sure.
He's going to beat it. He's a tough kid. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all of you, the super chats. See you on TigerBait.com. And we got a lot coming your way very early tomorrow morning on the site. Good night.